8 tips for fighting constipation in women. Constipation. Who hasn't had it once or twice? Problems with the intestinal tract are definitely one of the most common health-related issues throughout the world. Something more than 20 of people suffer from it, especially women. It causes abdominal swelling, pain, and gas. That's why we're going to give you 8 keys to fighting constipation in this article. According to statistics, women tend to suffer from constipation more often than men, which is why we want to give you a few explanations and specific guidelines so you can prevent it today. Let's take a look. Why does constipation occur primarily in women? Hormonal influence. Once again, your hormones are responsible for predisposing one to constipation. All of this is because of the cycle changes produced during menstruation, variations that affect the intestines causing them to move less, become slower during bowel movements, which are necessary for defecation. Certain dietary influences. Sometimes people start certain diets. Very restrictive diets that don't include fiber, that don't provide enough nutritive variety in dishes that, in some way, end up affecting intestinal health. You need to keep in mind that when following any sort of diet, you should proceed with caution. Guidelines for fighting constipation. 1. A complete breakfast. You need to follow specific dietary guidelines. Breakfast is definitely indispensable, which provides a good amount of fiber. It is important that you include whole grains, like oatmeal, bran, natural orange juice, plant-based milks, like canary grass is great. Fruits like plums, as well as some sort of infusion, like chamomile or mint, could also help solve your constipation. 2. Light dinners. People sometimes make the mistake of eating late, heavy dinners. This could be either because of work or certain obligations that make it so, or because you get home late and hungry, and you start making things and end up eating fairly late. This is a mistake. You need to know that at night, your stomach starts to slow down. This makes intestinal movement much slower. Little by little, you will start retaining more than normal, until it leads to constipation. According to doctors, the last meal of the day should be late and early, at least 2 hours before going to bed. 3. Choose your vegetables well. We all know that vegetables and legumes are excellent at regulating constipation. But you need to see how well they settle with you. Keep in mind that, for example, broccoli, cauliflower, and artichokes cause flatulence and tea times. They aren't as good as you had once thought. Salads at night are sometimes not a good idea either, because lettuce and a lot of leafy greens also cause gas. But each person reacts differently, so you're the one that needs to take note. Eggplant is generally a very good option. 4. Fruits with their peels. Whenever possible, consume fruits with the skin along with the fruit. For example, we recommend that at midday, if you're hungry, that you eat an apple with the skin. During breakfast, whenever you have orange juice, don't remove the pulp. They are excellent for promoting intestinal movement. Pears, kiwis, strawberries, grapes and plums are also great at helping with constipation. 5. Be careful with diets. Anytime you want to start a diet, make sure it is a varied diet and that it covers your basic nutrients, a good amount of minerals, vitamins, proteins and fiber. Fiber is essential, as well as enough liquids. You should never abandon drinking at least 2 liters of water a day, along with natural juices. 6. Yes to olive oil. In small amounts, but dress your food with it. It might be the only recommendable fat source that will help you. Including olive oil in moderate amounts in your meals will promote intestinal movement, thereby preventing constipation. So do not be afraid to include it. 7. Be careful with forbidden foods. In order to fight the effects of constipation, you need to avoid consuming any food that is difficult for the body to process, and those that are damaging: refined flour, fried food, seasoned food, industrial products, sweets, and all of this provides extra sugars and fats that harden feces, making them difficult to pass. Cured cheeses and rice have a similar effect, so it's best to use moderate consumption to avoid constipation. 8. A bit of exercise. It's not that hard. Try to go out for at least half an hour every day to walk, bicycle, swim, and it's much easier if done with a friend. But do some sort of exercise within your abilities, because this will help intestinal movement. No doubt about it, this is good for health and for preventing not only constipation, but several other diseases. So what are you waiting for?